So whoever dropped that F-bomb.
Yeah, everybody dropped no F-bomb.
So are we
That's
recording? Or
all.
are we live?
Okay. Well, yeah, we are live. J Tuck, if you wanted to know. Uh, so I just want to welcome everybody in. This is George Teague, the host of Teague's Take. Man, we got one that's kind of going to be on fire tonight. I'm really looking forward to this because we got some heavy hitters. We're going to be talking some old NFL football, lots of it, as a matter of fact. So I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about other stuff, but I always got to give the shout out to the place that I'm at out here at the Lantern in Plano. Oh yeah, I got to reach over here and get my cheese sticks because I'm going to be eating on some of those because those one of my favorite. I also got me a. This is a Coke. Ah,
Yeah, and what's
definitely
in it?
Coke. Uh, there's some other celebrities in the house too. I don't want to call them out like that, but oh man, someone I looked up to, and man, I'm gonna talk about him because I wanted this. Yeah, that would be you, Bob. Um, Mr. Doug, man, I wanted his son to come play for me over at JP2, and he wouldn't bring him. So JT, we got to make sure we get on him um, a little bit later. But anyway, this is a great time, great opportunity for me. You guys, make sure you come out and check us out here at the Lantern. Great food, great people, great happy hour stuff, great servers. All of it's good. If you like your little local bar where you can just come hang out, if you are in the Plano area, please come on through and support them. The owner, Calvin, is tremendous. I can say this because he's here tonight. The best bartender here at the place would be Jason. He's a big Cowboy fan too. He doesn't like Alabama, but he's a good one. Other than that, we get along very well. So make sure you come out and support. Make sure that if you are listening to this post show or something on your favorite podcast channel, uh, subscribe to our YouTube page. Go ahead and hit that bell so you know what's going on and things of that nature. So for my run out, JT, real quick, it's only because I've had a whirlwind of a day. Otherwise, I would talk about something probably a little bit more important than this. But here's what my run out is. It's real, real simple. Girls are expensive. Don't try to argue with me. Don't try to argue with me. Don't, don't try to. Well, it has nothing to do with nothing about what her fee was to be able to get me on the show. I'm talking about my daughter, man. She's something else. She is something else. So I don't need to get into all that. I'm just saying, you know what? I'm glad that I'm a father. I'm glad that I'm a granddaddy. They call me Papa G, my young ones, and all that kind of stuff. But boy, man, this stuff with these young ladies. Uh, I thought JT was expensive coming up playing the sports doing this thing, but Jada, good lord. Okay, so that's all I got for that. I need to be able to get into who we got on the show. Very, very great group of folks today. Of course, we have JT, the co-host, my buddy, my friend, my son, the analytical one who makes everything go well, James Teague. The other three people that we got with us, I'm going to put the most important one first. Ladies always first. Nikki, is it Geist or Gist?
Oh, hold on.
Yes.
There we go. Say it again for me. There, guest.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, okay, because I was listening to something and I thought the guy was calling you Geist or something. I was like, that can't be right.
No, not right. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, but she is the host of the Rush Hour podcast. Man, they do a great job there. She's with a co-host of Third and Three podcast, co-host of the New York Giants Rush podcast. Are you still on with the channel side bets? Do you still do that stuff?
No more channel side. No.
Okay. But I did find something interesting, and I hope this is still true. The owner and CEO of Hello Green Marketing.
Yeah, that's my company. That's my real job. People think that I just cover the Giants for a living, but my real job is that I own a marketing company. So
Yeah, see, so we need to JT. We might have to contract her because when I was checking out the website, there's a lot of things she can do to help us pub and market through this
absolutely, yep.
on our own stuff, right? Okay, so round of applause for Nikki. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Oh, I love that.
All right, so she's going to be our Giants expert for the night. The one we got to put in the middle, just because he's in the middle on the screen too, the way that I'm looking at him. He's Mr. Commander, right? So he's going to be talking to us about the Commanders. His name is Terrell Jenkins. I've been blessed to actually coach his son in a All-American bowl game. But he is the founder of Realism Sports Talk Network, where he hosts his own podcast. It's called Realism Sports Talk. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Spotify. He does multiple shows a week. You can catch him on Fridays. You need to go look him up and get into what he's talking about. He talks a little bit of everything, not just football, but I know he covers basketball. And I tell you what, this guy has some amazing opinions. Amazing is the word I'm going to use.
Yeah, amazing's about right. Yeah.
Because he's a Notre Dame fan as well.
About the word he was going to use.
Yeah. So, round of applause for Mr. Terrell Jenkins. Yeah. I like it. So, I guess I had to say the best for last in this case, too, as well, because he's our Dallas Cowboy expert. Yeah, you know how we do with these Dallas Cowboys out here. But Jordan Tucker is real name. You know him and see him on all his IG, Twitter. I'm not sure what else he's on, but as Jay Tuck puts out a lot of stuff. He's a Dallas Cowboy content creator, so he's always got a lot of great things out there for. Make sure you guys check that out. But he's a NFL draft analyst as well. He is a Kansas Jayhawks football insider. I didn't know they had a football team.
Yeah.
We working at it.
But anyway, so he covers them. But he's co-host of the Ship radio show on ESPN, located up in Kansas City. And he is the host of the CFO Sports Show on YouTube. Round of applause for Jay Tuck. That was pretty cool. We used those people to put the little clap together. We paid the little $50. They're like extras, that we had stand out in front of the bar real fast. And we gave them like $50 a piece so we could make that little sound clip.
Oh,
You
we could have all
lucky.
done it.
You lucky I still hadn't put the rest of the sounds on these boards.
Yeah, so that was a big lie. We didn't really do that. That was a standard thing on JT's fancy board. He has a fancy board. I got the raggedy board.
It's not even raggedy.
Here at the bar. Well, anyway. Okay, so let's get into this, right? Because the draft is coming up. Guys and ladies,
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to the Cowboys to try to go to the draft show that they have at their Cowboys club. And guess what? Because there's a little private area. So they've got the big one that they're going to do out of Tostitos Plaza where everybody can come and watch, on the screen outside of the practice facility and all that kind of stuff. I didn't really want to go out there in that much, so I wanted to go in a private club. I told them me and JT want to come. Man, we're the host of Teague's Take. We need to be up in the house and we need to see what's going on so we can report on it, see how to get the reaction of other fans and the club members that are going to be in there. Man, I got waitlisted. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about that. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I got waitlisted, but hopefully they'll rethink it and call me back. So, all right. Purpose of the show tonight, I want to be able to get some expert opinions from you guys on about what your team may not do There's a lot of free agent stuff that's been happening with all of the teams. You've already signed some people, some have made trades, some have lost some key people. I kind of want to rehash this, try to figure out, see what you guys think about definitely the first day of the draft next week. Wait, is that next week? 27th. But so I want to start with Nikki first because you guys, the Giants, have your 25th pick, right?
Yep.
I think coming out of it. We've had some pretty good deals, but is it true? What out of the needs? A little bit of research that I did, a little bit, and that's why we need you to give us as much as you can. They said that everything I've seen is that you need a center. It seems like that keeps coming out. Maybe a defensive back, cornerback, maybe a linebacker, maybe another wide receiver, maybe a defensive end, maybe a safety, all kind of stuff. So what do you guys really need? What do you really need?
All of that. But hey, you know what? You know where you won't get waitlisted? I have extra tickets to the Giants draft party. So if you feel like coming over to MetLife, hanging out with us, you won't get waitlisted. Courtesy of Nicky Nick. All right. No, I know they keep saying, "Oh, we need everything," and we do. I think that I think every team has a lot of holes that they can fill and areas that they can address. I think a center in the first round is a bit of a reach personally. They've got to go wide receiver. I am just going to just launch myself. Like I live near a bridge here. That's it. Like if we do not get a number one wide receiver, that's not to say who you draft is going to turn into a number one wide receiver. I get that. But this team hasn't had a number one guy in like over a decade. So I would really love to see them go wide receiver. It is a need. We've got like 8, little speedy slot guys. So I'd like them to definitely go wide receiver here.
Well, and that's what I was about to say. You don't feel like you're going to be overloaded. I think you guys picked up Crowder, Paris Campbell.
Yeah.
Who else did I see? Re-signed Slayton. The Hodgkins guy who made me some pretty good money in fantasy football this year. Appreciate him very much because he was a little sleeper down there that you could get for cheap. And I think you got Sterling Shepard back. So it just seems like you got a lot of wide receivers, but no number ones. Is that what you're saying?
We got a lot of wide receivers, no number one. Shep is always injured, right? I'd love to see Wan'Dale Robinson actually get on the field, but he's always injured. They did replace the turf at MetLife, so maybe, save the ACLs this season. That would be great. We did get Darren Waller. So the other theory of thought here is they're going to treat Waller like he's the number one, which is why I do like him for fantasy this year. I think he's going to be really productive. But, I don't want that. I want that true number one.
Okay. Well, I'll come back to you in a little bit because I'll ask these other guys about that. But I need to see how you feel about Daniel Jones.
Oh, boy.
A little bit later. So, TJ, that's Terrell. So, is the most important thing you guys need with the Commanders, is it a running back or is it someone else? I know you guys lost J.D. McKissick. You still got our guy from Bama in the house, but what is the real needs that you guys need to have?
Well, the whole franchise, we always need a quarterback. I mean, we never, ever have a quarterback, ever. And we've only drafted a quarterback in the first round 4 times. Patrick Ramsey, Dwayne Haskins, God bless his soul, Jason Campbell. You know what I mean? So it never really works out either. So that's always our strength to get. But the way we draft so late, we can't really get one. I'm hoping to snag one in the second round. We'll get to that. So we spent a lot of time and energy on the offensive line for free agency and re-signing. But I want, and maybe I'm a Notre Dame homer, I need Michael Mayer. I need the tight end from Notre Dame. I need a playmaker. I need a baby Gronk. I need somebody that's going to help our young quarterback, safety blanket. That tight end is always that safety blanket. And with our new offensive coordinator, soon to be head coach, Eric Bieniemy, you see what Travis Kelce's doing out there. Not saying that we're going to have Patrick Mahomes throw it to him, but he knows how to get the tight end the ball. And Michael Mayer is a guy that can do everything. That's what my heart is.
Who's throwing him the ball?
Yeah, right? I mean,
I'm writing down all kind of notes here. I'm like, what is going on? But he said he's a homer, so I told you he was a Notre Dame fan. I know, but side note to this, because I do, so I play a lot of fantasy football. I think I did win somebody's league, but I'm not going to talk about him right now because he's on the show. I'm going to leave that alone.
Injuries happen, man.
That's
Injuries
the
happen.
belt too.
You know.
That's the belt too, right there.
Run it back.
Yeah, but that Mayer, how do you say his last name?
Michael Mayer.
Yeah, Michael Mayer. He was a very, very good. He was my tight end, but he kind of disappeared late in the season. I don't know if that was just because of who they were, but it seems like he was the man early on and then kind of went away. So,
Well, our starting
Just
quarterback
something
got
to-
hurt, so I mean,
oh gosh, okay.
He wasn't very good either.
can I say one thing real quick before you cut me off? Nah, never
Yeah.
mind. Nah, never mind. Your guy's not to the second round. Go ahead.
See?
We got enough
What you
Alabama
talking
boys
about?
in our defense.
Well, y'all just pay anyway. Yeah, let me get to Tuck. All right, because Tuck. Now we're talking about our Cowboys. They came. They're doing a lot of things, probably more than normal in off season. I don't know. You let us know how you feel about that. Some trades, picked up some free agents. He mentioned something about tight end. I'm reading so much. I think it might have even been on your stuff too, talking about these needs. Is that tight end? Are we going to steal Michael Mayer in the first round, or are we going somewhere else? Running back, wide receiver, DT. What are we going to do, brother? What do you think?
Well, see,
Or what do
I
we
think it's funny to find the difference in thought process when it comes to Michael Mayer, right? Because a lot of Cowboys fans, he's horrible, he's slow, he's sluggish. And I'm sitting there like, what film are y'all watching? Like, this kid is outstanding. Like, he's been lights out for the past 3 years. Now, do I think tight end is a need in Dallas? Not necessarily. It's more of a luxury because we have the young guys who we drafted last year in not Dalton Schultz, but Jake Ferguson and Peyton Hendershot. But when it comes to the Cowboys, like you said, George, like we've been more proactive in free agency up front versus in normal past years, we've always kind of had to rely on the draft. So the Cowboys are sitting in a good position. Now, for me personally, if I'm address a position, it's going to be the offensive line. And what I'm looking at is an offensive tackle that can give you some guard flex. So maybe a guy you can start off at the guard position and maybe flex out to play either right tackle or left tackle. Because we always know, Tyron Smith, is he really reliable as health-wise? Probably not. You have Terrence still coming back off of injury. He was our starting right tackle. So I feel like if there's an actual need in Dallas, it's going to be the offensive line. But if you want to kind of go luxury and splurge a little bit, Michael Mayer, Dalton Kincaid, or even Darnell Washington, those are 3 high-quality tight ends that you can add to our offense, and I would not be opposed to it.
Okay, I like it. So, did you say? I want to make sure. Are you saying O line first?
Yeah, I would think addressing the trenches off on the offensive line because they were like 31st in pass pro last year. You have Tyron, who's always injured, Terrence coming off an injury. So, we really can't find out. Now, Jerry says one thing about Tyler Smith playing left tackle. Steven says the complete opposite, that he might be playing left guard. So that's the huge question mark. So like I said, I would try to find a guy that can maybe play right tackle or maybe stuff him in at left guard. And in case of emergency, you can kick him out to either the right or to the left, kind of like they did with Tyler Smith last year. So I'm focusing on the offensive line in the first round.
Okay, and that's where I am too.
And we probably are too.
It's Christmas socks. It's not the sexy pick, right? But you need it. You need a winter coat. So yeah.
Well, someone that got to fill some shoes over there. Nikki, what's going on with Saquon Barkley and that kind are you guys really worried about this?
Right, because he's not signing his tag, is he?
No, he has till July. So no, and this is the thing. Giants Nation got, all crazy up in arms when he didn't sign on Monday. And it was like, nobody really expected that, right? I think any reasonable person, football fan, you would just think that, we didn't expect him to sign by Monday. So I was on Brian Dable's press conference and, they asked him, is he allowed in the building? And obviously, no, he's not. And they kind of addressed the whole Twitter narrative that's going on about, Saquon not signing and Dex is sitting out because of Daniel Jones' contract. And basically we just got coach speak, right? Just we're going to keep that private, conversations between us. So I don't think Barkley's happy, right? I wonder if he wishes he took that $12.5 million that was offered in the bye week. But, either way, either sign and get a long-term deal done or, that's it. He'll play on the tag this year and that's it.
So
he needs to sign.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, look at the running back. Listen, I love Barkley, and John Mayer said, I want him here. I want him to be a career Giant. I'm not a fan of paying running backs. I'm just not.
He needs to sign with his injury history. When you got guys like Austin Eckler out here wanting to get traded and nobody wants to pay. I mean, you know what I mean? Running backs are dime or dozen. He needs to go and get that money and get 3 years or whatever he can get and get paid.
He's trying to get that CMC money, and I just don't know that anyone's going to pay that.
Yeah, because they understand the mistake that they made.
Yeah.
So JT, have running backs really lost value? And I may want to hear from all of you guys on this. Is it really just kind of declined so much now that you're not going to see these high price running backs anymore? Is that where we're going with the NFL? I want JT to answer this one.
Absolutely. And look no farther than the Kansas City Chiefs. They got some dude playing in the Super Bowl named Isaiah Pacheco, who literally nobody had ever heard of until the playoffs. And they're probably paying him in Trident gum and juicy fruit. And every
Trident? That's for dentures, man.
Fruit stripe gum, something.
But it's one of those things where you look. What I tend to do is look at the playoff teams, and I try to figure out, okay, how are their teams constructed? And then you go look at like all the best running backs that make the most money, and all of them and their teams are sitting at home not playing in the playoffs. So I think it's just natural to think that most teams are trying to find a big time quarterback, load up on defense, and find a good core of receivers and say, hey, as long as we have one running back that can just not fumble the ball, pass block a little bit, and run for 700 yards on the year, we'll be all right.
Okay. So, let's talk about that, because since we not going to have Zeke, or maybe he comes back or something else.
Right.
So are you good with the people on the roster? Do you try to get someone early if someone falls to the first round? Do you jump there instead of a lineman? Or, how important is our running back thoughts going into this draft?
The only way I would jump up or maybe consider taking a running back in the first round would be Bijan Robinson, because I feel like he handles 3 of the specific needs for the Cowboys. 1, he handles the right now. He's box office. 2, he's your emergency policy in case something is wrong with Tony Pollard coming off the ankle injury. And also he's a futures play, so you can move on from Tony Pollard and definitely lower that cap hit when it comes to the running back position. So I would consider Bijan at 26. But when you look at this running back class, it is so deep. Like, I'm finding new running backs every day that I fall in love with, all the way into the 5th and 6th round. So, I don't think the Cowboys will really press on it unless Bijan is there. And I think the real reason they would do is because, Jerry Jones want to sell tickets. He wants to sell jerseys. Bijan, Texas kid, Dallas Cowboys, bright lights, it's automatic. So
yeah, but he didn't go to Arkansas. If he would have went to Arkansas, it would have been a done deal.
He went Darren McFadden, right? But it's like, I think Jerry would consider it. If Bijan was to happen to get around 23-ish, I can see Jerry sitting up in his chair a little bit, but he's the only one I would consider it. And I know your guy Gibbs is sitting there as well. But I think Bijan would be the one that they would really consider moving up for and making a play for at 26.
How different is Bijan from Pollard in their style of play?
I feel like Bijan gives you a little bit more in between the tackles. And here's what I've been trying to say about Tony Pollard is that we know what he did for us in the past. But once again, he's coming off the ankle injury. But also, people got to consider, what is your mental mindset coming in franchise tag? Because Nikki just mentioned about Saquon. Like, players don't want to play on the franchise tag. And most importantly, running backs don't want to play on the franchise tag. So if you think he's about to load up and give Tony Pollard 25, 30 carries a game and get up out of there with a victory, I just don't think that's going to be the case. And so I would like to have another running back you can lean on that can carry the load in a 17-game season and also playoffs. And I feel like Bijan in rotation with Malik Davis, who was a young undrafted guy we brought in last year. We brought in Roe Jones, but I'm not too high. He might just be a camp body, but that kind of gives you a 3-core rotation alongside Tony Pollard. So, I would think that Bijan gives you just a little bit more as far as what Tony Pollard is concerned. And also it gives you more of a future play as well. So that way you can move on from Tony Pollard. Because I think that Tony Pollard is more like Dalton Schultz. You franchise tag him this year, move on next year.
Okay. That's a good word. It's a good word. So Terrell,
Pollard's not
quarterback.
gonna run it to the ground like he did DeMarco Murray.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing to be said about Pollard is that he's not a career running back. He's a receiver that plays running back.
Right.
So as far as, franchise and bell cow and all the buzzwords and superlatives that you want to use for Tony Pollard, as good as he is, he's not a running back by trade,
Right.
which might hurt him, especially when it comes to contract negotiations, if you can bring in somebody like a Bijan.
Right.
Yep. And I don't want to spend all of our time on the Cowboys like that.
Why not?
but-
Why not?
No, we don't want you to
Bijan's
either.
not gonna be there anyway. Bijan's
Well-
not gonna be there that late.
No, because I need Jay Tuck to really kind of think about this, because I'll swing back around to it. Is really how key is the running back going to be in Mike McCarthy's style of offense that he's going to start running now. So I'm wondering how important that's going to be. So Terrell, what are you thinking about you guys quarterback? Are you guys gonna just ride out with these two, Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett, or I mean, what's the?
I mean, that's what Washington does. We either have some young nobody or a retread. That's why we should have been the Washington retreads instead of Commanders. I mean, that's what I say. Anyway. Now we have new owners, so hopefully that retread tradition will go away, because our old owner would just buy every old retread player that was a high profile name and throw all this money at him, and it amounted to nothing. So hopefully with this new ownership, we can do something. Sam Howell, he's a 5th round pick. Jacoby Brissett, he's a backup. I mean, he is what he is. He's a bridge quarterback to get to where we want to. That's why in the 2nd round, I'm hopeful that we can some way get Hendon Hookers. I mean, I think that with him.
Do you actually think he's going to make it to the 2nd round?
I think that he might. He might last to the 2nd round. We're high enough that we could possibly trade to get to where it needs to be or whatever. But if we can get somebody like him that can sit a year, get completely healthy, because if he would have been healthy the whole year, we might have been looking at him up there with CJ Stroud, who's slowly going down the board, and we got Will Levis.
Well, he would have been above Will Levis. I mean, come on, man. This
we got Will
is
Levis above
ridiculous.
CJ in some camps. I don't know.
I
wouldn't do it. But
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know what Kemp do, but Kemp Krusty.
I wouldn't
I don't
do
know.
But we passed on Justin Fields twice last. I mean, when he was a rookie. So I mean, hey, that's what we did. So
I know, and that's why I don't know how this is gonna turn out for you guys, because you guys got some weapons, man. Just got to put it together. Maybe the ownership is gonna make a difference. I don't know.
it will.
Oh, I think so.
It's a huge difference. Everything's gonna change.
Even your stadium, maybe.
And
That's the second most priority is changing the stadium. We need
And
to
the
go
name.
back there
And the
on
name. You're gonna change
Knock down
names again.
RFK, build a brand new one in that location, because the transits and the buses get there way easier. Right now, trying to get to the stadium where it's located, you're gonna be on the highway for like forever trying to get there. It's packed everywhere. RFK was the best location. Enhance that whole area. You're where you're supposed to be. And traditions back with the Hogs, back when we won our rings, our 3 rings and everything else. You know what I mean? That's where we need to be, right there. New ownership, Magic Johnson, smile pretty, and let's go. Let's go.
Maybe the Commanders can draft a stadium. That's what Nikki said. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. Draft stadium. Yeah.
I mean,
All right.
we've had more name changes than playoff wins since this.
Just
Because your owner, Dan Snyder just like couldn't get it right. I mean, God.
fix my dog Sean Taylor statue. Just do that. That's all. That's my only reason.
You
Yeah.
saw the Sean Taylor statue?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yo.
Auction.
Poverty franchise,
Yeah,
honestly.
fix that
Like,
first. Let's start with that.
fix
man.
that. Fix that.
I mean, come on. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's stick on to that theme, Nikki, because you guys re-signed your quarterback.
Yeah.
I guess you guys are you? I won't say do you think it's the right move, because he's a good quarterback. But is he?
He's fine.
Are they giving him enough with what he had? Can he really be successful, or is he really still going to be? Is he going? Let me see how do I put it. Is he going to turn into a running quarterback, or is he really going to have some people that he can really thrive and become a good top 5 quarterback? Can he get to that status?
Top 5. No, I think he can get into top 10 though. Listen, people don't like to view Daniel Jones as a dual threat. He literally carried this offense on his back, right? He and Saquon were the offense for quite some time, honestly, until Isaiah Hodgins got going towards the end of the season. But that just goes to my point even more. Like, we've got to get him a wide receiver. We got to get him some more weapons. And the wide receivers that we have, half of them just can't stay healthy. They never see the field. So, yes, I think he will continue to be a running quarterback, and he is a dual threat. It just, he doesn't come to mind, right? You think of a Pat Mahomes or Jalen Hurts, who just got himself a nice payday. I thought 40 was the right number. I wouldn't have gone over 40 for him, but hey, you know what? I can't knock these guys for trying to get their bag. Like, I'd be trying to do the same thing too, right? So I think he's going to have a much better year. Listen, previous year, the Giants were a 4-win team. Brian Dable comes in, Joe Shane comes in. I said it on my show. I actually predicted Saquon would have a monster fantasy year and the Giants would win 9 games and Coach Dable would be coach of the year. So I kind of nailed all 3 of those. And I just felt that being at camp and covering the team all summer and being around them, I could just tell that it was different. So I think year 2 under Brian Dable, our offensive coordinators coming back, like, I think they're just going to thrive provided they get him the help that he needs. But I'm okay with this contract. I thought that was the right number.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's good for
So-
both sides. Good for both sides.
Yeah, good for it's gonna look like a bargain, right? I mean, you think about, like, Justin Herbert's still got to get paid, Joe Burrow's still got to get paid, like Daniel Jones is gonna look like a bargain in a couple of years. So
Yeah, if he shows out, that's a huge bargain.
exactly,
Dayball is fascinating. He's a great coach, amazing coach.
he's really cool. He even lets us put in requests for the DJ when we're standing on the sidelines reporting. So that's really cool. And my playlist got significantly better being there every day. So
That's dope.
yeah,
Well, that's pretty cool.
I think
Except that-
Daniel Jones is
except
like
that-
top 5 in rushing yards by quarterback this year.
yeah, it's insane.
Just stay away from the 10-yard line when you're running, though.
All right, relax over there.
Wait,
I
is
wish
that-
we'd have got him instead of getting.
wasn't that was terrible
I
when
ain't
he
saying
did.
anything bad about Haskins to it.
What did he do? Did he fumble? He just fell. What was that one play?
Right.
Yeah.
One time. See, you just
just
cannot. You make one. You trip once. That's it.
Hey, ask Mark Sanchez.
Nikki, to be
Yeah,
fair,
He got
we
the
had a
butt fumble.
quarterback. We had a quarterback score and ram his head into the wall
True.
after he scored and broke his neck. Gus Farad. So I can't say nothing.
That is true.
Well, I guess we really can't blame Dak for the fumble / snap, something, whatever that was. It still hurts me to this day, about that. So why don't we swing back around to you, J Tuck, with that? I already started talking about what the coach needs to do, and I was really going to ask you about the running backs with that, but now they got made me thinking about how does this maybe affect both of them? Dak, does he become better now that McCarthy is going to run what he wants to run, I guess, for an easy way for me to put it? And also, what does that do for the running back position? Does it make it more important or not?
I think Dak simply improves based off of just getting more talent back in house, because coming off the 2021 season, Dak was having one of his best years. I mean, the Cowboys win 2 more games. His stat line was pretty much on par with Aaron Rodgers. So he probably would have been an MVP consideration. But then what happens? You strip away Amari Cooper, you don't replace it. Michael Gallup's coming off of ACL. He isn't the same. You toss out Noah Brown, Dennis Houston, Simi Fioco, Jay, like you toss out a bunch of randoms, and I just don't think that Dak is that kind of quarterback that you can go out there with low quality guys and he can just uplift them. So I feel like with the addition of Brandon Cooks back, also I think Michael Gallup may be having another year to recover from the ACL. He's going to be naturally better. So I think Dak is going to improve. Now, when it comes from Kellen Moore's offense philosophy, which I kind of claimed as the no identity offense, because they never really had an identity, what they do well. They do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, right? So I feel like Mike McCarthy is going to create more continuity and more of an identity. So, if he's running his traditional West Coast offense, it's going to be more based off of stretch plays. So you might not just hand the ball to Tony Pollard. It might just be quick screens or, get him out on the edges. But then you also add the addition of Schottenheimer coming from Seattle, he's going to be more of an inside zone guy. So to answer your question, George, the very first one, I feel like Dak is naturally going to improve, a better offensive talent, and also just a simplified offense approach. But when it also comes to the running game, I think it's going to improve as well, because Mike McCarthy likes to get his running backs out in space and let them create, and that's definitely going to fall up, Tony Pollard's alley if you're able to get the ball in his hands and let him create. So I think our offense, you're not going to see the godly numbers you're accustomed to seeing with Kellen Moore, but it's just going to make sense. Like, there's a lot of games we're watching on Sundays. I'm just like, why did you call that play? It's kind of just like you press the Ask Madden button and it's called a play just to call it. So it's like, I think we're going to have more of a clear understanding when it comes to the Cowboys offensive philosophy under Mike McCarthy. We shall see. We hope.
Okay. JT, you want to pop that thing back up there? Do you want to pop that, who was it, Tommy thing up there? See if J Tuck wants to respond to that. I don't know if you can see it. Sounds like
The comment says this sounds like a condemnation of CD. CD
No,
needs
absolutely
better performance from his QB.
No, absolutely not. CD was our number one wide receiver in 2021 when Amari Cooper was there as well. He followed up and was the number one wide receiver last year, but you need more than one wide receiver. Like, I'm here in Kansas City. They have Travis Kelce. He's one of the greatest tight ends. What does everyone want? They want DeAndre Hopkins. Like, you need more. Like, and so I feel like not Hopkins, but Brandon Cook is going to take the focal point away from CD. But also, I think if you have a healthy Michael Gallup or just another guy on the boundary that can actually stretch the field, because that's what Michael Gallup was known for. He was your deep threat. He was your big over the top, go get it guy. Well, if you can't go over the top anymore and go get it, then I'm not going to play deep on you. I'm not going to kick out of my stance early because you can't beat me deep. And if you watch a lot of Dak Prescott's interceptions, they were a lot of underneath routes because the corners and the safeties really had no concern with getting beat over the top. And naturally, why would you? So, I mean, the only over the top play we saw last year was the 3rd and 30 versus Philly on Christmas with T.Y. Hilton. And that was just damn near a Hail Mary to save our Christmas Eve. So, I just feel like having, better weapons is going to help Dak. Like, I just don't understand. This is not a condemnation on CD. He's right here. Like, I screamed tears of joy when we drafted CD, woke up the whole neighborhood. Like, I love CD Lamb, man. So absolutely not.
All right. Tommy's giving you 2 thumbs up. He said thank you for that, and he appreciates it. So nice work there. So what about the Commanders then? What's this offense going to look like with Eric Bieniemy? What is he bringing? Is he bringing the Chiefs stuff coming in and trying to run that stuff, or he's
well, if he's not bringing Patrick Mahomes, he ain't never bringing the Chiefs stuff. But I'm happy to get Andrew Wiley, the offensive tackle. I think that's huge. Especially what he did in the Super Bowl against Reddick. Hassan Reddick for the Eagles, what he did all year, and for him to stop him and you didn't even hear the Eagles defense who led all of these things in sacks and everything else. I'm happy to get him on our offensive line. He can play guard and tackle. That's huge. And I just think that he's just the coach in waiting. And I just hope that we can get a tight end. I think that he's going to mix that up. And I'm hopeful. I'm finally hopeful with something. Maybe it's the new ownership. Maybe it's not. But our offense is the issue. Our defense was top notch. I mean, we were right there, even without a true number one cornerback, which we might get in the first round. Because if we don't get Michael Mayer, I'll take Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State. I really like him. Or Deontay Banks if he happens to fall for us. Or not. I don't know if he'll fall that far to us, but because Banks, he's physical, great ball skills, played at Maryland. You right there at home, baby. Come on, join with us. But so I think we could be something. But the whole franchise has always been about not having a quarterback. I mean, we haven't had a quarterback. You can't even name a quarterback that's been anything. Unless you go back to
McNabb.
That's an Eagle quarterback. Unless you go back to Dosman. But I mean, it's like, that's another one of our retreads that we got.
I don't want to bring up his name just yet because we do need to talk about. But why in the heck did y'all go get Lamar Jackson?
I bet.
We'll talk about that.
Why not, Daniel Snyder, on your way out? Stick it to all the owners and guarantee him $200 million and peace out.
Wow, give him $1 billion and
that's right. Stick it to him and peace out. I would love to have him. I haven't always been the best Lamar advocate on my shows, but from an organization where we have nothing, I would be blessed to have him. I was happy to get Carson Wentz, and I'm like, yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh,
But
wow, come on.
That's how high.
Nah, bro.
That's how low the bar is.
You'd
Right.
have
You got
to.
excited for
Carson Wentz means you had to be digging to get under the bar.
But look at the track record.
Yeah.
I mean, that speaks for itself.
What track record?
Exactly. It's a dirt road.
Dirt road.
Okay, well, hey, just another reminder where I'm at the Atlanta Street Grill and Tap House in Plano, 6205 Court Road. They do a karaoke Wednesday through Sundays, I believe it is. Starts at about 10 o'clock. We're relaxed around here. We come and might be there. 10:05. No, that is not what I do. I do judge, though, from the side and say, ooh, what was that? Or, man, that was excellent.
George, drink one more of those Cokes and you might say.
Well, I had a brother that always told me all the time, know your limitations. Because I ain't gonna do nothing stupid like that and get up here and have somebody record me with my terrible voice. So I'm gonna leave it to where it is. So if you like karaoke, come on out. You don't have to be a pro. Some of those places are really, really good. We do have some good singers that come in that entertain us very well. Every now and again, I might go, ooh, give me a shot, because I don't know what that is. But, so let's get back to Nikki again, because you were saying something. You kind of frowned or saying no or something to Terrell Jenkins there. What was that all about? What were you saying?
Deontay. Yeah, I wouldn't mind the Giants getting him. If they don't go wide receiver, I would love for them to grab him. Yeah.
Okay, so talk about your free agents that you got. Who is the one that you guys are like excited about, if any? Because you guys signed like quite a few free agents that hadn't been there before. Is there anybody you guys are like, man, we're glad we got him, or just kind of?
I'm excited for Darren Waller. I really am. You know why? Because he's going to open up that offense, and we desperately need that, right? Especially listen, NFC East, typically we just beat each other up, right? I mean, when's the last time somebody won the division back-to-back? 04, I think, right? Was it the Eagles in 04? So we really just beat each other up, the entire season. Honestly, if you want to win the East, you have to get past Philly. You have to get past Dallas. You're not going to do that if you can't open up your offense. So I'm excited for Waller because he's going to be able to, open it up for Daniel Jones, kind of be that deep threat. He is going to act as the de facto number one wide receiver. I can already kind of see it. So that's who I'm excited for, because we have got to get past Philly. I cannot take watching this anymore. It's I don't know. It's absolutely madness and depressing. It's every time. I just mark it as a loss. It's a loss. I don't even want to watch the damn game. It's just horrible every time we play the Eagles. So I would love for this offense to get it together a little bit and, stick it to the Eagles already, please.
All right, so
can't take it.
I intentionally didn't invite any Eagles.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's all peaceful.
This is nice.
Yeah.
We can get along.
Yeah, so that was intentional, but I do have to ask, and I do want all you guys to answer, honestly or whatever. But how close are all of our teams to them? Are they that much better? Are we, all of us that far away, or some of us really close, or, is it just the bounce of a ball? I don't know. Y'all tell me. Tuck, you go first. How far away are we from?
I mean, for the Cowboys, not at all. I mean, we're above the Eagles. I feel like Cinderella's glass slipper fell off. They lost their defense, a lot of defensive players, lost a defensive coordinator, lost their offensive coordinator. Like, they got a lot of changes in the house that they have to consider. And here's what I've been trying to say. If Dak doesn't get hurt last year, more than likely we slide them when we're in Philadelphia. And then we saw what happened on Christmas. So, for me personally, I feel like right now, especially going into this season, Philly is trying to keep up with Dallas. We all know how the NFC East is. There hasn't been a repeatable division champion in almost 15, 16 years. It's been quite some time. So as far as Philly, and people get frustrated like, Tuck, you're just being a homer. I'm not. I'm being 1,000% honest and adding context. I don't have my eye on Philly no more. It's these two teams who I'm watching, because if the Washington Commanders somehow just get a capable quarterback, like if they were to actually say, you know what, we're gonna go get Lamar Jackson. Everything in our division
Watch out.
changes. Like,
Yeah,
That's
watch
what I'm
out.
saying.
Because
so-
the
so-
Commanders have a
that's
really
what I'm
good
saying.
defense. No,
exactly. So I mean,
that's
'cause-
what's frustrating. They
Yeah.
got a great defense, right?
Yes.
And it's like you've got the talent there at wide receiver. You just don't have a quarterback. You want to talk about a team who's a quarterback away? I
Right.
think the Commanders could be in the conversation, not a quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl, but contending.
Why not?
And really, if you quarterback away, you could have easily jumped into the playoffs, right?
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. So it's like my focal point is really on the Commanders and also the Giants. Now, Philly's also going to be competitive. I'm not going to count them out, but as far as real threats, it's going to come from the three people on the panel. So there was no point of you even adding the Eagles people in because I'm pretty much dead in the water. The schedule's going to be a lot more difficult. You're not going to run Jalen Hurts around like he's a rookie anymore. He's got $50 million, so you're going to be cautious every move. He's coming off an ankle. He's coming off a shoulder injury. Like, things are going to be a lot different. Their offensive line is older. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm just not really focused on Philly. I feel like that was last year's story. Now we got to focus on two other contenders in the NFC East, which is the Giants and Commanders. So
Well, I don't know if it matters or not, but Tommy Simmers gave you 2 thumbs down on that.
yeah, it
one.
was.
Tommy's
Tommy,
a hater, dude.
hey, Tommy, hey, trust me, Eagles fans know how I get down. Like, I was comfortable on Christmas, so I was comfortable on Christmas versus Philly. I saw Cooper Rush go to Philly, and he almost got them up out of there. So it's just like I have, as a Cowboys fan, I have zero concerns what to be afraid of Philly. Like, there's nothing I need to be afraid of. When's the last time Dak has lost to the Eagles? It's been almost like 4 years. Every time I seen Dak versus the Eagles, he put up 40, 30, 35, 40, so like, they got a lot of catching up to do. But good season last year, though. It was fun.
Okay, Jenkins, what do you think about your boys? How close are you? He just
I think just like Jay Tuck said, if we pulled the trigger and got Lamar, we definitely contend not just for the division, for the whole NFC side of it, because the NFC is weak right now. I mean, you look at San Francisco, their quarterback's in limbo. Aaron Rodgers eventually may go somewhere else, and the rest of that division I'm not scared of. You know what I mean? So who else is there to fear besides our division, which we were one game away, if we weren't Washington doing Washington things, from all 4 of us making the playoffs.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we're that close without a quarterback. I mean, you know what I mean? So if we would just pull the trigger and go and get this guy who's still young, proven MVP, whatever. I don't care about the deficiencies. Our whole quarterback scheme for the past generation has been deficiencies at quarterback. So we're right there. The Cowboys, I think, with this whole new, I think Coach McCarthy is going to change the dynamic of everything, which is a refresh. I think you guys are going to be better than what you have been and should have been. And the Giants, I mean, they just keep drafting the best I've seen in the past couple of years. Their whole general manager, their coach, I believe they're getting inside, outside. They're building that inside foundation, and now they're focused on the outside, like Nikki said. I think our division is going to be unbelievable as far as the matchups go. The Eagles, you lost. When you win like that and you got to pay your quarterback, you're going to lose key players that helped you get to that. Yeah, you kept some old players, some old Eagle players.
Right.
But they're old Eagle players. They're not those guys that was putting up all those numbers. So I'm intrigued by the whole prospect of us having an opportunity. It's going to be a fun ride in the NFC East. It's going to be crazy. And I would say it right now, it's going to be the best division in football. But since we were last place, as far as the scheduling goes, we'll play the last place teams as opposed to the Eagles playing the first place teams.
Right.
And I think that's where we have an opportunity to kind of get some momentum going there. We'll see.
All right. Well, there's a question. Go ahead and give it to him before I go to Nikki. Pop that one back up there, JT.
Yep. It's from Jared Dull. It says, Terrell, is Sam Howell the answer?
That's my producer, Mr. Jerry. What up, producer? Hope y'all won tonight. But I don't know if he's a producer. Just because he had one stellar game against the Cowboys, which we destroyed them. And we also
we was resting for Brady, man. We was resting for Brady.
No, y'all played all your starters. Don't play that. Don't play that. Y'all played all your starters the whole time. Don't try that. That's my Super Bowl. We taking that, baby. You know what I'm saying? And we destroyed the Eagles too. But anyway, I mean, we're gonna give them a chance, but like Nikki even said, our team is right there. Like Jay Tuck
Yeah.
said, our team is right there everywhere else except for quarterback. If he starts slipping a little bit, Jacoby Brissett's somebody that can put a Band-Aid on it, and hopefully he can just do enough. Just do enough. Don't do too much, just do enough. That's why hopefully we get a super gem later on. If we talk about late flyers, I have a running back that I'd love to get because Antonio Gibson's not the guy. And
Good start,
B Rob is a certain kind of guy, but we don't have that home run hitter. But I got one that I want to draft later on in the draft.
See, I'm sorry. Two things. One, we just had someone come in and said, "This doesn't sound like karaoke." I said, "No, it ain't. I need to look up." Hey, this is a hot spot for karaoke, man. Y'all need to come in. Tell y'all whatnot. And Terrell, I need to go ahead and tell you this. I'm going to tell you. I gave Tuck and Nikki. I donated to their favorite charity so that they would be nice to you tonight. Because they're being way too nice to you tonight.
Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I need all the help I can get, man. Hey, if I got to promote Washington, I need all the help I can get, man.
All right. So, all right, we're getting close. I want Nikki and JT to answer this about how far we're away, and then I want to talk about Lamar Jackson. Then we'll call it a night. All right. So, Nikki, how close are you to the Eagles?
I mean, no, we need a few more pieces, right? We do. I have to be realistic. And part of that is like the pessimistic side coming out in me because just look at the past, I don't know, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. We just can't get past them, right? It seems like we fall apart, and especially if it is a primetime game, forget it. I mean, just absolutely forget it. It's going to be a blowout. It's 40-3. Turn the TV off before halftime. It's brutal, but I'm hoping with an improved defense, everybody under Wink for another season here. I'm really hoping that they can pull it together. If we can, get things together there in linebacker land, that would be great. But I think to everybody's point, the division as a whole is really close. We beat each other up on bad years. There's years where we're all bad, and we're barely pulling away. So, I think we're getting there. I still think it's, Cowboys, Eagles at the top. And then, I am concerned about the Commanders because let's say they do go and get a quarterback, right? I mean, I've always said every show on my show that I love the Commanders defense. I love Chase Young. I was so disappointed 2 seasons ago when that defense did nothing because it was like, you have so much talent. What is going on here? And that offense can really, really get going. So, yeah, I don't know that we're close yet to the Eagles, but we're getting there, putting the pieces in place.
Okay. All right. So how you feel about all those, JT? The analytical one. What do you think?
I think there is one important piece that is missing from the conversation, and I think it particularly applies to the Commanders and the Cowboys. We talked a lot about rosters and players, but one, I will never forgive Ron Rivera for what he did with the quarterback situation. That is inexcusable that he would even consider putting Carson Wentz back in there for a game that was a must win.
What was that?
Absolutely.
The coaching that the Eagles have proven that they have is, to me, right now still unmatched. I need to see something from McCarthy. Not saying that he can't do it, but we don't know yet. I think Kellen Moore not being the offensive coordinator is probably a step in the right direction. But I don't know how far of a step forward we're going to take yet. And Ron Rivera has removed himself from Coach of the Year running indefinitely for what he did at the end of the season. I still don't get it. It makes no sense. And I think the Giants overachieved, which I think is a good thing as far as coaching staffs go, to be able to get more out of what you probably should have gotten out of your roster. So as far as rosters are concerned, I do agree. I think that everybody is probably on par with each other, but I think there are still a whole bunch of coaching questions that we have to figure out amongst at least 2 of the teams in the division before we can start really claiming the crown over the Eagles.
All right. Okay, good. So last thing. So we'll make this a speed round here a little bit because we probably could talk about it for a long time. Lamar Jackson. I just want to hear you guys' opinion. Who is he in a good spot now because of Jalen Hurts signing this deal, or is he just was the whole situation just bad? I guess. Where do you think he is? Did he totally screw this up? Or is he going to be all right? Terrell, you first. He mess
Well,
it
I think
up.
the whole thing of not having an agent is stupid anyway. If you're asking for 200 million, what's 2 or 3%, bro? Really? Really? Come on. So, and you are a running quarterback. And I think seeing what Jalen Hurts did, being the first, which he didn't have to be the first, he could have waited till Herbert and Burrow got theirs and tried to figure out what he was going to do in the meantime there. You know what I mean? Because he went to the Super Bowl, so he has leverage. So seeing Hurts do what he did, I know the Eagles have draft capital to maybe scare him to think maybe they could go up to get another quarterback. But I don't think that even mattered. I think Lamar needs to just humble himself. They got you OBJ. You already said, go give me OBJ and D-Hop and we can talk. I think you need to start talking now and just meet somewhere in the middle. I think they need to do a 3-year contract, give him 150 guaranteed, and roll with that or something like that. Because it's ridiculous unless he wants to come to Washington. Because nobody's going to give him that capital for somebody that's been injured two out of the last years that he's played. Whether he could have played last year or not in the playoffs, that's a bad look on him.
I agree. Nikki, what do you think?
Yeah, this is not ideal, right? And I think with that Jalen Hurts deal, it just came through. I mean, one of these teams stepped up and said, no, we're not going to go the Cleveland Browns route here. We're not guaranteeing all this money. We're guaranteeing some of it. So I just don't know why Lamar's doing this with no agent. I mean, I can't understand it. I know that, agents were advised by the league to not deal with anyone who's not certified, right, by the NFLPA, and his mom is not. So I don't know if that's probably stalling everything. I don't know what his ask is. The story keeps changing, and then the mom's aunt's hairdresser is reaching out to somebody. Like I don't understand what's going on here. But we've been doing this game for like 2 years, right? It's been couple years now that the Ravens have been trying to, wrap this up. I get he's injury prone, but so you don't try to move forward with Lamar, but you go spend 18 million on OBJ. So I don't understand
wild.
that, which, hey, if Lamar's there, I'd love to see Lamar and OBJ on the same field. I think that's great. I think the Ravens are another team that, when's the last time they had a number 1 wide receiver? I don't know, 12 years ago, maybe. Like it's been a minute. So I just, I don't know. The whole situation's weird to me. The story keeps changing. And listen, I think when a deal is in front of you, we all know how to negotiate a contract. You have to take the deal that's best for you. But I mean, this went relatively easy for Jalen Hurts, right? It was a good deal, it was in front of him. He took it. So it can be simple sometimes, right? And the team wanted to take care of him. So I don't know. I don't know that Lamar saga gets wrapped up anytime soon.
And look at his deal, though. He only got 110 million guaranteed at signing.
I know.
He got the 175 in case he gets hurt. That makes it worse for Lamar.
Right, but if you're a Herbert or you're a Burrow, you love that deal, right? You got to be excited. Any dual threat quarterback is thrilled to see that deal. So, yeah, I don't know. This has been quite the saga.
Yeah,
it's a little fishy. Tuck? I'm gonna give you the last word on this. I know me and JT got some opinions too, but in the sake of time,
yeah, I think Lamar's in a bad situation right now because there wasn't any offers coming out. They let him kind of hit the market, and no one made any offers. So when you think about Lamar Jackson, he's a niche quarterback, as I was say, and not a lot of teams are built for Lamar Jackson. Like, you got to restructure your whole philosophy, your offense, your players, like your roster, to build to help Lamar Jackson kind of step in and be Lamar Jackson. I just don't think a lot of teams are built like the Ravens are, right? So, you think what the Ravens did, they had Hundley come in, play just fine. Like, it wasn't really a drop off. Lamar, if you're not going to get an agent, I just don't see Lamar getting Herbert money. So I don't see him getting Burrow money. Like, I feel like the Ravens are going to draw a line in the sand and they're not going to cave because, like you said, there's injuries. Like, think of it as making an investment. If you're not going to buy a car and pay top value for it, if it's been broke down the side of the road for the past 2 years and y'all just refixed it up, like, no. So I just feel like when it comes to Lamar, he may have priced himself out. I just don't think that he probably didn't consider his market value dropping, but I just don't see a lot. Think about this. The Jets were willing to risk it all for old Aaron Rodgers, but not for Lamar Jackson because they don't want to play that price tag. So he is going to have to come to terms with Baltimore, or, he's going to just understand that yesterday's price isn't today's price. He's not going to get the same value he thought. So
that's really what it comes down to.
Which is unfortunate because, he did have the MVP season. He's played at a high level, but like I said, it's a certain style of football, and those types of quarterbacks, they don't last long in the NFL. I mean, we saw RG3 have that flash, unstoppable, and then injury happened, and his career was over. So
if he was 10 years older, 10 years older, my organization would pay him $200.
Oh yeah.
Sure would.
Oh yeah, we'll take it.
Sure would.
Well, I just hope it works out for the best for him. I hate that he's kind of put himself in this situation, and it's going to be hard for him and the team, I guess, if he decides, okay, now I want to play, I want to come back. I don't know. I don't know if he has to go all in now too and hold out and all this kind of stuff, or what the deal is going to be. I've got a bad feeling that it's not going to end up very positive for him at all. I hope I'm wrong, but it just seems broken in a bad way. So, but one thing we're not broken on is here on the Teague Take Show. It's been great. I'm so glad that you guys have all been here. JT, before we go, last words about anything that they said that you just need to shoot some knowledge to all your what's the name of that one little social media on all your Reddit fans that I know nothing about.
Sure. Yeah, I was sitting on a graph. I wish I probably should have tried to pull it up on screen. But they did an analysis on positional draft value weighted by round, and they ranked all the teams from first to last. You want to take a guess on where the Commanders are on that list?
Number 1, baby.
Absolutely not. They are below average. The Giants are kind of right there.
Middle.
Yeah, they're above. They're probably about 3 above the middle. But Dallas and the Falcons and the Ravens are the top 3 teams when it comes to draft value.
Yeah, Dallas drafts well.
Yeah. Anybody want to take a guess on who's last? Because they're last by
Cleveland.
Houston.
The Raiders.
No, Cleveland is the closest to the bottom. They are actually just below the Eagles. The Eagles are bottom 7.
Wow.
But the Bears are the worst by a considerable margin.
So is that just the value of the picks that they have, or just based off the historical picks?
It is positional value weighted by round. So basically, if you get good value early, it skews you more. It puts you in a higher percentile than it. You get rewarded more if you pick well early than if you miss late. That makes sense.
Gotcha.
So if you 7th round and the dude's a bust, it's kind of like, oh well, no big deal. And it's looking from 2011 to 2022.
Okay.
So not forever, but at least in recent memory.
All right. So all you first-time listeners, you need to take heed to this, because see, when I bring to the table, I just kind of bring some opinion, old player type thoughts, this type of stuff. JT dives into this stuff because he comes with stuff and you're like, where the hell did he get that from? Why did he find that out? That's why we love it. You get a mixture of it, and then we bring in some experts like the guests that we've had today. We are so thankful for your time, for you guys sacrificing your time to come on and be part of Teague's Take. You guys are Teaguesters, and we want to say thank you very much. So it is at this time that I'm getting let's get off the air. Let's go. So,
Karaoke on.
Yes, karaoke going on tonight. about to get crunk. I'm about to get some of that orange tea. Some of that green tea.
Oh, God. Karaoke's coming.
What the fuck is this?
We'll see y'all later, baby.